So I promised you a tutorial on how to replace the assets from the city generator. So since the city generator is completely based on geometry nodes, all of the assets are contained in your blend file, in all of these asset collections, which will allow you to manipulate and edit or replace all of the assets if you want to. So here's a short tutorial on how to do that.
So let's open up Blender and go to the city generator, import city. So if you import the city, you can see there's a whole collection called CityGen 2.0 assets. If you activate it with this button right here, you have to check the restriction toggles right here to activate all of these signs. You can see if we activate the collection, all of the assets that are used in the city generator are in these collections. And they will update in real time. So as you can see, all of the assets right here are now these three assets in the building asset collection. So if we go into edit mode, we can see we are editing them live. So you could just go to the assets and manipulate them right here. As you can see, if we do this, it automatically updates. And we have this in our city generator. I'm gonna put this to the side right here now. So if you want to edit or replace these assets with your own, you have to just go into the collection where these assets are right now. These are the US building collection, and let's make this a little bit wider. And these are the building assets right here. If you want to add your own assets, you just have to import the models or add them into this collection and keep the naming convention in mind. So all of the buildings are using 3 layers of these building assets, and you have to always make sure that you also have 3 assets of your own and keep the name from the asset before. So for example, we could just delete all of the other rows and just keep the first one. Now you can see it will just be able to use the assets in the collection. What you also can notice is that there are also low-res versions of these building assets. So you also have to always add low-res versions for the scattering to work. So if we want to add a new asset, set cursor to selected, and let's add in a new plane. Let's rotate it, put it right here, and let's make it also 3 meters in size, apply the scale, and let's just pretend this is a window. You want to select the object that it came before it and just copy the name from it and also rename this object so it will order themselves into the naming convention. So we can duplicate this so we have 3 layers, could just manipulate it like this. The different layers will look different, like this. So let's copy the name from this one. So now you can see this one is named layer 1 and is asset 001. This one is also asset 01, but layer 2 and layer 3. If you don't plan on using the low-res versions of them, you can just duplicate them. So now you can see if we go to the city generator and change the asset seed, yeah, you can see that now these assets here that we added into the collection are used. You could also change the assets and use a different height for them. The setup in the new version will automatically recognize the size of these assets and will adjust it. But all the assets I created are 3x3 in dimension. So you could just duplicate these and Blender will automatically update the names if you duplicate them. Yeah, so basically all you have to do is just keep the naming convention in mind. And now you can see we only have the high-res versions of these meshes, which is why things start to get a little bit weird here, because it doesn't order the assets correctly, because we also need a low-res version for each asset. And now everything seems to work fine. So this is basically how you can replace the building facade assets. Now replacing any of the other assets is pretty simple. So if we want to add another asset to the building, to the roof assets, for example, you can see in the US building collection there's a US roof collection, and everything you put into this collection right here will be scattered on the roof. For example, we can go into drop in a water tank, water tower like this. Just put it into this collection. Yeah, and let's delete all of the empties, because we don't need those. Also make sure that you have the scale and rotation applied to the object, so the scattering will work properly. Now you can see these water tanks are also on the roof right here, but just by adding it to the collection. It works the same for the street assets right here. You can just select a object. Here you can see the universal sidewalk assets are highlighted here, and then you can see where these assets are located in the collections. So we can just add a street sign model from BlenderKit, from the BlenderKit add-on. Just drag and drop it in here. Also clear the transformation and delete the empty, because we don't want the empty to be scattered on the sidewalks. And also apply the rotation, so the scattering will work properly. Street assets, sidewalk assets, universal sidewalk assets. Now you can see these also get scattered right here. So yeah, you can simply just edit all of these collections and see collections in here and edit your assets this way. For the materials, it's also very simple. You can just search for the material here and just go into the shader editor and manipulate them. For example, we can just go to the shader editor, go to the CityGen street material, and yeah, you could just create your own new shader like this. Do your own materials and all of this stuff. For the cars you have to do some extra steps to replace the cars. Now you can see there's only one car model really for the traffic. So I'm going to show you how you can add other car models to the city generator. So let's go to the street assets, car assets, and you can see to make the tires also spin, these objects have to be separated. So let's take a new car model. Let's take this one, for example, from BlenderKit. So first of all, you want to take everything except the wheels and apply all of the modifiers. So you can apply the modifiers of a model by just converting it to a mesh, and then just joining it all into one object. Then we don't want it to be parented to a empty, so let's hit Alt P and clear the empty. Then you want to join the front wheels into one object and the back wheels into one object. And you want to make sure that the origin is exactly at the center, so if we rotate it, it will rotate it correctly. Let's also make sure origin is in the center, so it will rotate around the origin. And let's parent the wheels to the car model here, and yeah, so this is a car body. And then we want to also keep the naming convention, so let's just copy the name of the first car model and name this one 02 car body. Then we want to take the wheels and put them into the front wheel collection and make sure these are the 02 front wheels. And let's do the same for the back wheels. Now for the scattering to work properly, the models have to be in the world origin. So let's select the two car models and hit Alt G. And now you can see our new car is also part of the traffic simulation. And because we separated the wheels, they also will spin correctly. And you can do this to as many cars as you want, as long as you just keep the naming convention in mind. There's also a car headlight which will be activated. You can just duplicate this one and name it 02. So it will be, or you can use your own kind of light setup. So yeah, that's basically it. If you want to edit any of these assets, you can just activate the asset collection, search for it here, manipulate it, do something to the materials or replace it entirely. And as you can see, all of these things will automatically just update in the city generator. So after you're done, you can just uncheck all of the city gen assets and continue with your asset changes you made.
So that's basically it. If you want to get a city generator, there will be a sale on the Blender market where you can save 25% on all of my products. When will it start? I don't know. I'm just gonna blend it in here. So yeah, that's it. Have fun with the city generator.